Thinking about buying a franchise? Don't go it alone. Just like a buyer's agent in real estate, you deserve someone who's on your side every step of the way. That's where Todd Abraham, the franchise guy, comes in. Todd's consulting services are completely free to anyone looking to buy a franchise. He'll represent your interest, make sure all your questions are answered, and walk you through the entire buying process. With Todd in your corner, you'll have the best chance for success from your first call to the day you hold the keys to your new business. So before you buy a franchise, talk to someone who knows the industry inside and out and works for you. Call Todd Abraham, the franchise guy, today at 423-381-0925 for a free, no-pressure consultation. That's 423-381-0925. Your future in franchising starts here.
Here we go. Good Thursday afternoon. My name is Todd Abraham. You are listening to the Franchise Flashlight podcast series on franchiseradio.net. And today I am blessed to have Mr. Nick Barclay with us, who is from the great country of Australia. And he is actually a day ahead of us, and it is wee early in the morning there. But as he told me just a minute ago, he said the sun rises about 5 a.m. there. And so at 7 a.m. doesn't feel too late for him. Mr. Nick, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thank you very much, Todd. Wonderful to be here. Yes, I am coming to you from the future. From the future of Australia, we are leading the charge. What are we, 12 or 14 hours ahead? No, great to be here and great to meet you.
Yes, sir. We had a fun story. So we're doing this through Zoom, which we do all of our podcasts through here as in the last couple of years. We only publish the audio, but it's fun because so there's two versions of Nick on the podcast. There's one where I can see his video, but his microphone shows that it's not working. But then there's another version of him where I can't see him, but the microphone is working. So we were joking around and say we've got the ghost of Nick on the podcast with us. And
I can assure you my technology is great, but I am very much an apparel expert, and that's our focus, Todd. So at least we can see each other and we can hear each other.
That's right. And on the upside, this is my second podcast with a business franchisor from Australia in about close to 2 years. The last one I did on a different platform, and we had a problem with his audio coming in too low. So I'm thankful that this time it's good. So a little bit about Nick. His franchise is OCC Apparel. And I love, good fashion, just like anybody else. And actually, I'm looking at his website here, and if you want to tune in, or if you want to check out the website while you are listening to this podcast, go ahead and pull it up on your phone or on your computer. It's OCC Apparel Franchising.com, spelled just like it sounds, OCC Apparel Franchising.com. So one of the great things about franchising is that what I love about it, one of the facets of franchising that I love is how you take a shrewd businessman like Nick, who can create a great business in Australia, and then he can create a franchise for it in the United States. And that is a fantastic way to grow the business, and one of the safest methods to grow the business in today's modern business society. So, Nick, without any further ado, my friend, tell us a little bit about the background of yourself, and then about how you started OCC Apparel. What was the vision?
Thanks, Todd. Yeah, so my background definitely came out of business and university. I first learned about apparel when I worked in the outdoor clothing industry in a retail sense. So apparel for me, that gave me the goosebumps, where I sold someone some clothes, which they needed for the outdoor world. They were excited, I was excited. And that was probably my first sort of instance of, okay, apparel can really help people. That's where it all started for me. I actually worked with Patagonia in the States. So I was working in America for a couple of years. Organic cotton back then, back in the 2000s, was not a big thing. Patagonia was leading the charge on that. And that's where I first learned about organic cotton and the facts that it doesn't use any chemicals. It's grown from a non-genetically modified seed. And it was an education that I didn't know. So if I wasn't there, I didn't learn that. But it's something once you do learn, it's pretty hard to turn off. So the roots of OCC Apparel actually started in the United States. The nuts and bolts of the business, when I moved back to Australia, I brought a box of white organic cotton T-shirts. Into Australia, we went to farmers markets. We were officially the Beneficial Tees, which was the brand of the T-shirts, distributor in Australia. And we went to farmers markets. We sold T-shirts, and we got a lot of questions from people about how cotton is grown. Is it a food source? And then specifically, love the cut, love the fit. Can you screen print them? Can we put our own label in it? I need it for staff. I need it for a church event. I need it for a running event. I need it for university. So they're the bare basics of OCC Apparel and my part in that journey, a journey which now is into our 22nd year.
Oh, wow, that's a long time. Now, what parts of the world besides Australia do you sell the products in?
We're very strong in Australia and New Zealand. So Australia and New Zealand, for us, we are brothers and sisters. We're extremely close across in a commercial sense and a business sense.
Right.
So that's where we have been. If you look at our front end clients, we do sell internationally. We have clients around the world, but predominantly we are strong from a client base in Australia and New Zealand. Our supplier network in apparel, though, is global. Yes, we do a lot on the shores of Australia and New Zealand, but when it comes to sourcing and production, we are connected globally. So we have suppliers in Europe that we work heavily with, in the UK, and then production back through in India, where there's a lot of organic cotton. So yeah, we've always been trading in a global sense.
That's fantastic. So now how recently have you become a franchise in the US?
We are newly created this year, 2026.
Outstanding. Well, as a franchisor myself, I know if you feel like I felt the day that my franchise was completely done and Chris Connor told me, he said, Todd, you can start promoting. I felt like a kid in a candy store. I felt like it was Christmas, my birthday, and all the days you get gifts wrapped together. And I just couldn't wait to get out there and start telling everybody I knew. Um, and, what's great is clothing is such a necessity. It's a part of life. And that's why the clothing industry, if it's done right, will never get old. I mean, because it's a fabric of our lives. It's the slogan they use for cotton. And I think it's a great slogan. So tell us about the markets, like I guess, first of all, tell us, who is your ideal franchisee? Let's go ahead and start with that.
Yeah, motivated business owners, apparel experts. Well, when I say business owners, yes, our franchisees may be out there, and I would say are out there in the apparel industry, in a business, looking for support, and experience and a new set of products that OCC Apparel can bring across to them in their existing business. And if anything, they can rebrand across to OCC Apparel and we can be working together. So it's the connection that the franchisee agreement and partnership brings for them. That's sort of that's sort of step one. The second part, yes. Apparel experts, industry veterans, sales experts that have been in the industry maybe for a short time or a long time, but they're apparel lovers they are working for a business at the moment, but deep down in their heart, they are thinking, I would love to be in my own business. I might love to own my own premises. I would love to work for myself. But I just need, without going out by myself, how do I do it with a group of experts, with a strong brand, strong supplier list, strong systems, strong marketing? How do I do that? And currently, it's interesting, Todd, right here at the very moment. Yes, there is franchises in apparel related and promotion products, but there's not a dedicated, solely focused apparel franchisee like OCC Apparel.
Right. Well, and I would think too, somebody who is environmentally conscious, because like it looks like everything about this company is definitely 100%, environmentally conscious, and I think that's fantastic. Um, so the I was looking at the numbers. Let's go ahead and talk about the numbers for the cost for someone to come on board as a franchisee. Very good, considering the franchise fee is 40,000. It looks like the all-in investment is around 94,000, and the monthly royalty is 4%, which is actually 2 points better than the average monthly royalty, which is 6% for most franchises in any sector. Um, so tell us about what that initial investment is going to gain for that person.
Yeah, the initial investment of is going to gain them the brand, the knowledge, the experience, and the support of me and the team. We're a model where you don't need to be spending, or I wouldn't be looking to spend money on high rent fees. So we don't agree with a front end retail presence, locking yourself up in, high rent fees. So yes, we work in an industrial showroom. We have a showroom. It's excellent. We have all our sample stock and we book B2B meetings. But we would look at that capital, instead of spending that on high retail, I would conserve that in the business. Yes, you need some working capital. If you haven't been in your own business before, without a doubt, you are going to need some working capital. So a fair bit of that investment is in the working capital. We don't require stock holding, so you are not putting money into stock. We are ordering stock from our suppliers who are delivering the next day. There is absolutely no need to be holding a lot of stock. We are also not focused on running machinery, owning machinery, owning an embroidery machinery or a screen printing machinery and doing that work. That is not what OCC Apparel experts do. And frankly, that's not our expertise. Our decoration partners we work with do it far better than us. Yes, we're extremely skilled and upskilled in it and have to know all about it. But you do not need to be putting money into the investment of any of stock or equipment. The other thing with employees and staff members, OCC Apparel is a business that can very much be run by one, if not two people. And of course, the team can grow as the business grows.
Right.
But we're also bringing a back office team that have worked with us now for the last 7 years, which are helping and assisting, in all the background sort of quotes and sales orders and general assistance. So there's not a heavy requirement of capital for staff members.
So is the franchisee with OCC Apparel, are they mostly going to be acting in like a wholesale role, selling to companies who want to customize this merchandise for their customers, or would it be a combination of both? It'd be as a wholesaler and a retailer, or both? I mean, you let us know about that, if you will.
Yeah, we're technically in our word, we say B2B, business to business.
Right.
So that's where OCC Apparel flourishes. In the world of apparel, if you didn't know, or you're not heavily entrenched like we are, look, there is plenty of ways to get one cap with one embroidery or one t-shirt, and that's excellent. And the industry has really grown. There's a lot of front end websites where you can do that. OCC Apparel is that business to business relationship where a business or a brand or a not-for-profit or a university or entity needs management across their apparel programs, and that's where we come in. So obviously we are looking for lifetime relationships, and we hold them with clients, but it's definitely more that the business client target.
Gotcha. And so basically what I'm looking at the franchise information website, which again is OCC Apparel Franchising.com. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, you've got quite a few product lines here. With not only do you have the actual the clothing, but then you've got the screen printing and the embroidery. Now, what is DTG and DTF? What does that stand for?
Yeah, so DTG is direct to garment, and DTF is direct to fabric. So they are digital processes for decorating garments. Okay, screen printing is by far the biggest known sort of method, along with embroidery, for decorating garments, and we're experts across all those things. So it's interesting. Some front end clients, look, I think all of us can pick a garment and a piece of artwork and say, I want this on this.
Right.
And we can do that visually. And now with ChatGPT and AI, it's very easy to talk into a phone or talk to a computer and generate that artwork.
Yes.
Very quickly, and you can manipulate it and you can change it, and you can be cooking dinner at the same time and doing it. When it actually comes to creating that in the real world, there's a lot that goes into not only the garment type, the garment fabric, the construction of the fabric, the placement of the artworks, the actual artwork resolution, the amount of colors in the artwork. And then in the industry, we're working with Pantone color codes and CMYK, and even embroidery has different thread colors. So OCC Apparel experts they can see behind just the artwork and the garment.
Right.
The best method to use or to decorate a garment, sometimes very, very simple and straightforward, and sometimes not. It's a fun part at OCC Apparel that even in our 20 years of time, there's a new challenge, so to speak, Todd, every single day with every single client. So
right.
we take all that worry, if there is worry, and would never proceed unless we have the artwork right and the decoration method right. And then, of course, too, look, we're always looking at the budget and the costs involved, the durability, a garment that lasts the longest is actually the most sustainable. But yeah, the other thing you mentioned, our brands list. Look, in wholesale apparel, there might be 1,000 brands and companies. Where we started and our core DNA is definitely organic. And we work with brands that are like-minded in the sense of pioneering and pushing the organics industry, the recycled fibers industry. That's on the garment side, but also you mentioned the DTG and the DTF. They are water-based methods of printing, so there's not chemicals in those processes. So it's very important for us that we're working with suppliers that are walking the same road. Look, they might not be perfect. We're not perfect, and definitely when we started, we were the first to sort of have organic cotton, and look where we are now. So it's really linking with supplier base that believe in the same things, not taking shortcuts,
Yeah.
and continue.
One of the things I'm looking at here, because as you're talking, I'm going through your franchise information website here. Now, this is exciting. So, again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with Nick Barclay from the great country of Australia, and the company is OCC Apparel, and the franchise information website is occapparelfranchising.com. Now, one of the things that I think lends a very strong credibility to you here is that you guys were the first Australian distributor of Patagonia's beneficial teas. And again, you could read that on their website. So, what if you're looking at, if you're a entrepreneur who, as Nick said, you dream of owning an apparel franchise, a business. Why go and reinvent the wheel yourself when, which would cost you a lot more than it would to buy this franchise with this awesome company? But then, as Nick was saying, you've got such a strong history and a support team behind you to help you eliminate all the hurdles that they've already overcome, and such a broad range of products that you can offer, as we were talking about, business to business. And I'm certain there is a retail aspect to this, but the beautiful thing is that you've got both at your disposal. But again, OCC Apparel, the first Australian distributor of the Patagonia Beneficial Teas program, which is one of the earliest organic cotton blank apparel initiatives globally. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Todd. It is. It's been an amazing journey. I think, you say 22 years, it feels like yesterday. It's just as exciting today as it was. So, if you're generally talking entrepreneurship, business ownership, and the expansion of the brand, there's many different ways you can do it. You can start a company yourself. You can employ, be off and running and create your own brand and go for it. From our point of view, yeah, we could appoint distributors, we could appoint sales agents. There's different methods to grow. Franchising, for me, locking down the brand, the systems, and then the legal framework, which is extremely fair.
Right.
Extremely fair and upfront, and ethical, which is in line with everything that we do. I just, find that franchising is an excellent way for someone to get in their own business. And that's why we, after 22 years, have decided this is the right path for us. Also, me as a CEO and a founder, having created a successful business, being able to help others. Yes, of course, help OCC Apparel. I'm an employee of the company. Yes, I am a founder and the shareholder, but I work for OCC Apparel. Being able to help others hit the ground running in a successful business from the start is huge, and being able to collaborate and learn with them and grow the business on a global sense and locally is really, really important. And that's where I'm at, in my journey. Business, yeah, it's tough and it's exciting. But I think in 2026, really focusing in on a core product, ethical apparel, and staying in our lane. There's a lot of demand and a lot of need, and it's growing. I know I've got a long history and a long story, but it's quite interesting if you go to the Google. There's a lot of people just learning about organics and recycled fibers and water-based print methods, and the awareness is really growing out there. So it's an amazing time
Well, and
to
not
be.
only that, but the with everything, inflation just continually creeps up. No matter what happens, it seems like the speed of inflation is faster than it was when I was younger, 25 years ago. Because you and I talk, we're pretty similar in age, but I think a good analogy with this is that, if the fashion clothing industry was concrete, you know, in sustainable concrete, you've built a very sustainable and a highly proven form of concrete that somebody who has a vision of owning their own apparel company can start and build on that foundation without having to go and reinvent the concrete. And the other good thing about it is that once you and what I love about franchising is that for under $100,000, the franchisee can come on board with you, and they can, like you said, hit the ground running with what I call plug and play systems. And that is priceless in today's economy, again, because of the inflation and because of the level of competition and the saturated market, especially in the clothing industry. So having a proven channel, something that is newer to the U.S., but it's already proven, in Australia, New Zealand, that's good stuff right there.
Well, everyone wears clothes.
Yes.
Todd,
Hope so.
everyone wears clothes. And in a world of business and trying to look down the line and what might be and what might not be, and which industry might go up and which goes down. Look, when I stand back and look at the industry that we're in, number one, everyone wears clothes. Everyone
That's right.
loves to wear their favorite clothes. Everyone loves clothes that fit, and they get up in the morning and put this t-shirt on or pair of pants because it fits and they love it. So I would say we're guaranteed to be always wearing clothes. The other thing that is guaranteed is that we love to share our personality by the brands or the colors, or the team, on the outside of our clothes. And
That's right.
that has been something that we all love to do and congregate around a symbol or a colorway. So we've been doing that for a long, long time. Thirdly, when the snow comes and you're freezing cold, a lot of us put the hoodie on. It's
Right.
guaranteed. And when the sun comes out, we take the hoodie off and we put the t-shirt on or we put the cap on. So there's some fundamentals that I'm talking about that have got nothing to do, yes, competitive nature of brands and pricing and everything that goes with it. But really, we are in a billions on the way to trillions of people buying and trading in clothes. A lot of what OCC Apparel does is service a gap in the market, finds the clients and connects with them, and it's business that is there. We're not creating, something that's, we're doing a lot better, and the pricing is amazing, and the service and the delivery. But safe to say, yeah, the apparel industry in general, there's a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely. Let me just take a brief moment and say that you're listening to the Franchise Flashlight podcast series on franchiseradio.net. We are talking with Nick Barclay. He is the founder and CEO of OCC Apparel, a very proven and trusted brand, headquartered and started in Australia, and now is available as a franchise opportunity here in the United States of America. But I just want to say that this podcast is sponsored by Franchise Marketing Systems, which is the company which created the franchise for OCC Apparel. And if you are an entrepreneur who is looking to create a franchise out of your business model, Franchise Marketing Systems is the number one choice in America and Canada for doing that for you, because not only do they do a very professional job of creating all of the legal documentation for you, but they do about 10 other things that are just absolutely the, the most professional that you will find. And or if you're an entrepreneur looking to buy a Franchise Marketing Systems also provides you trusted franchise consultants to help guide you through the buying process based on your budget, your interest, and what they believe would suit you best for owning your own franchise. If you're interested in more information, you can call me directly, Todd Abraham, at 423-381-0925. So, Nick, let's say that someone buys a franchise with you. They go ahead, they pay the franchise fee, they've got the initial investment up front. What is the next step for them? How do they get started making money?
They open the doors, they go ask people, do they need t-shirts? And that's where it all starts.
Right.
So yeah, making money and taking money and the ability to do that, that's something that, you know, everyone at OCC Apparel is very keyed up on. Making the decision to start, that's a really interesting topic in entrepreneurship and business ownership. And it's interesting, we help in our apparel industry a lot of brands that started with nothing and then end up turning into $1 million businesses, you know, front end brands that are doing apparel. Now that decision to start is a big one, and once you make it, you're off and running. The decision not to quit, I would say, Todd, is a huge factor in success.
Yes.
Seriously, if you don't quit, you will succeed.
That's it.
You might have to adapt. You might have to ask people for help. You might have to change a little bit. You might have to make more phone calls. But the mindset that you're not quitting is huge. And that's something that just needs to be internal. You mentioned FMS, amazing franchise group to be working with. Super proud to have met Chris. And what I can say with OCC and FMS is, I know that FMS, they're not going to quit on us and we're not going to quit on them. So we're going to succeed.
Right. So
this.
when somebody signs up with you as a franchisee, what sort of is there like a training period they'll go through where you'll give them some ins and outs on how to start generating business? And I know you've already talked about the support staff that will be behind them. And I noticed on your franchise information website, you've got support in the form of like lead generation and that sort of thing, marketing tips, national branding, franchise coaching and reviews. So tell us a little bit about, that side of the franchisee journey for you.
Yeah, we've got a full training manual. We've documented all our systems, what works on the front end for sales and marketing across product and decoration methods. So a franchisee comes on board, dedicated website for their territory and their region, dedicated email addresses. Of course, they've got their phone number. We go into training mode. I personally come and visit and train the franchisee in an initial 2-week period where I'm hands-on. And if anything, and we also do this online, but we go through the whole OCC Apparel business model of what we do, why we do it, how we do it, the specific clients that we resonate with the best, we believe, are sort of, that work for us. And then it's just training through how to put a client into our CRM, how to create a quote, how to create a sales order, at what point do you ask for money, do you move forward with a job without getting money, or do you give them terms, are they on a discount, what garments are they looking at? There's just a whole lot of information and training that comes along with OCC Apparel.
Right. But you said 2 weeks that's not too awfully long and not too short either. So sounds like you've got it mapped out really well. Now, what sort of a territory would they expect to get once they become a franchisee?
Yeah, they're looking at about, a population of 1 million in city centers. We sort of mapping out, we see for the US market 50 to 55 franchisees can service and grow the American business, and each franchisee to be turning over between $1 to $3 million.
Fantastic.
That's where we sort of are sitting at with OCC Apparel. So 50-55, I think we cover the country, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it does to us for an expert apparel business that would get behind franchisees. The nature of apparel is you can service clients outside your territory.
Right.
With apparel, we can ship and deliver nationwide, but from a leads point of view, definitely, you're looking at locking down a territory of, business clients in that 1 to 2 million sort of population. So
Right. That's good too. And like I said, check out their website, OCC Apparel, franchising.com, and then, do a Google search for OCC Apparel. You're going to find a very strong web presence for them. And, again, you can check out the great variety of products that they offer if you just go to occapparel.com. And again, you've got, earth friendly products here. You've got screen printing, you've got embroidery, and across so many different sectors where you can market and sell the products to. So, and you were talking about AI, Nick, and I just want to throw this in there. I praise God for the good part of AI. I know there's a lot of bad parts, and I know there's a lot of it that can be scary, and I agree with that to a point. There's a lot we don't know about, but the good part has been really such a blessing for me because, I own a web design company as well. And so where I'd pay a webmaster, a pretty significant amount of money 2 years ago to build a website for me to take, 14 to 21 days on average. Very talented webmaster. Well, I was getting my alternator replaced on my truck the other day. It took about 2 hours, and I built a professional website in 2 hours. Cost me like $10 using AI. So
yeah,
it was pretty awesome. And I was like, this is so cool.
yeah. Look,
Yeah.
and I think, look, technology for us, Todd, in our business, and if I go back 22 years, like we've integrated with clients for web shops and web stores and had Excel spreadsheets uploading and downloading, to automated systems, to now Shopify programs where you press a button and you're off and running and selling t-shirts. AI to me is better memory than I can hold in my head. I find it is
Right.
like
Right.
it is it's for us, it's a memory bank. If we've got information that we sometimes might be repeating on different jobs or different methods, whereas we have our own GPT which locks in all our information, and it's just an amazing memory bank. We are fully embracing technology, always have, in the 22 years. But there is no way that we're not super strong on human to human contact and human relationships. And that for us is our priority. There's no way it's ever just going to be robots or emails or robots talking to robots, or
Right.
that's not OCC Apparel. And that's not the super fun part of what we do, especially not only connecting with our clients, but connecting with our suppliers.
Right.
So we have got super strong suppliers. We are supporting not only them, their brands, but the families that are involved with growing the cotton, turning it into a yarn, turning it into a fabric, turning it into garments. Our decoration network of printers who are finding new ways to print things better and with better quality. It's an ongoing basis. Yes, we're all using AI, we're all using technology, but yeah, we're human focused.
Right. Perfect. Well, Nick, I'll tell you what, it's been a pleasure, my friend. If you're interested in buying a franchise with this awesome company, again, you're someone that is an entrepreneur, you've got a good chunk of money saved up, and you've always dreamed of owning your own apparel company. This is the perfect opportunity. It is an environmentally friendly, socially conscious company, meaning that their whole supply chain is ethical from field to factory to customer, and it's a great price point. Anytime you can find a very good professional franchise opportunity under 100,000 in today's economy is always a good thing. And as we talked about earlier, the all-in investment is at 94,000 basically, but the monthly royalty is only 4%. and you get a very large territory to market the products to, as well as a very good training system that you'll get immersed in once you become a franchisee, and be taught, how to go out there and land the customers so that you can begin to make a really good income with this. And again, not to reiterate too much, but with a environmental friendly product, and in today's age, I know there's a movement towards that, um, to that end, and I'm all for it myself. If you want more information, all you have to do is visit their website. It's OCC Apparel Franchising.com, and there is a information request at the bottom where you can download the brochure and put in your contact information, and Nick or someone from his staff will be in touch with you to give you more information. You also can call me directly, and I can help get that set up for you. Todd Abraham, 423-381-0925. Mr. Nick Barclay, any closing words before we wrap it up, my friend?
Thank you very, very much for having me. Todd, great to meet you. Great to connect with all your listeners. As you said, here to answer any questions, connect, video calls into the future, 10 hours ahead, or I will be in the States. I can meet in person. But no, thanks, Todd. That was great.
Oh, thank you, sir. And I have to tell you, as someone who is 57 years old and very good with different accents, the Australian accent is definitely one of my favorites. And I love the New Zealand accent, which is similar in some ways, but different in others. And so always a pleasure being able to listen to that accent while I'm doing a podcast, because like I said, it's definitely one of my faves. But
Good. When I go to the US trade shows, I often wonder. I just see amazement. Wait a minute, just looking.
Yeah, it's
We
like
talking apparel, or we just wait? Thank you.
it's
Happy
like
to talk all day in this Australian
yeah,
accent.
yeah. It's like I can show you the accent, but it's not for sale. But yeah, that's awesome. All right, Dick. Thanks so much, buddy. You have a wonderful morning there in the land down under.
Thank you.